So you've got two choices in life. You can be spied on constantly, all your data monitored, or you could decide to de-Google your phone and stop the spying. I like what it says here on the CalyxOS website. Your phone should be private. Everyone needs a phone. Not everyone wants to be spied on. Reclaim your privacy with CalyxOS. So if you want to start your journey towards privacy, have a look at CalyxOS. I'm going to show you in this video how to take a Pixel 8 Pro running standard Android and replace it or flash it with CalyxOS. I really want to thank Brilliant for sponsoring this video. Do you know how technology works? As an example, how strong passwords work. Brilliant has this interactive course that shows you how strong passwords work. This is really important in today's world, and unfortunately, a lot of people still use weak passwords. So let's look at password theft. What I really like about Brilliant's training is it's very interactive. So as an example, do you know the answer to this question? The password you choose was at least 8 characters long. If it takes a hacker 5 seconds per guess, how long do you think it would take them to try every possible 8-character password? A few hours, a few months, or millions of years? What do you think? Answer is millions of years. They could use a script to automate the password guessing. Now you can try everything on Brilliant for free for 30 days. Use my link below, brilliant.org/David Bombal. You'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. You can really change your life through education. And I really want to thank Brilliant for doing that, but also for supporting my channel. Now, the first thing you need to check is which handsets or phones are supported. So on the CalyxOS website, if I scroll down, we can see modern devices such as the Pixel phones. So notice Pixel 8 Pro, Pixel 7 Pro, etc. We've got Fairphones, so 4 and 5. We've got various Motorola phones. Those are modern devices. Extended support is available for these Pixels. So notice even down to a Pixel 3, we've got a Shift phone. These phones are no longer supported, such as the OnePlus, etc. So Calyx then shows us some features on their website, and I'll quickly just go through some of them. As an example, Signal is installed by default. So rather than using SMSs, which are insecure, when you talk to someone, the idea is to use Signal. Much better, privacy-focused, encrypted messaging application. Tor is built in as well. So if you want to browse anonymously, you can use Tor built into the operating system. You can also, as mentioned, download your favorite apps from the F-Droid store or the Aurora store. MicroG replaces some of the functions of the Google Play services while maintaining much more anonymity and privacy, completely optional. So the idea here is rather than giving Google your Google ID where they can track you, we'll use another account and then be able to download the applications anonymously. Okay, so that's enough talking. Let's get started. So first thing, on the CalyxOS website, I'm going to click Get CalyxOS. Scroll down here. I'm going to install it on my phone. So I'm going to click Install. We need to choose the device model. So obviously you need to make sure which device you're using. So on this phone, I'll go to Settings and I'll scroll down and go to About Phone. And you can see this is a Pixel 8 Pro. So that's the phone that I'm going to use. So Pixel 8 Pro. And I'm going to install the software using Windows. Now in previous videos, I got a lot of flack from people saying, oh, you want to use a privacy phone, but you're using Windows. Now just note, I use Linux, I use macOS, and I use Windows. Typically, I only use Windows for demonstrations, just because it reaches a broader range of people. So I'm going to show you how to install CalyxOS using a Windows computer, even though that's not typically what I use. That's just to make it available to a broader audience because more people use Windows than perhaps Linux. Now, to make it easier, my team and I have created a PDF, which you can download using the link below, that shows you all the steps on how to get CalyxOS installed. In this example, we were using a Pixel 6a for the creation of this PDF, but I'm going to demonstrate using a Pixel 8 Pro. Steps are basically the same, but we've done a lot of work creating screenshots showing you how to set this up, and includes all the screenshots showing you what you need to do. As an example, turning your phone off and removing the SIM card as the first step, and then enabling options such as developer options. So that's a lot more detailed than they've got on the CalyxOS website. As an example, they just tell you to do this, enable developer options, but we're showing you visually how to do that. Again, I don't have a SIM card installed on this phone. So just to show you the full process, I'll swipe up and I'll go to Settings. Scroll down, About Phone. You can see it's a Pixel 8 Pro. What we're going to do is scroll all the way down and press Build Number 7 times to enable developer options. I have to put in my password, and notice we are now a developer. So first step, enable developer options. Next thing we need to do, enable USB debugging and enable OEM unlocking. So go back here, go to System, scroll down, go to Developer Options. You can see we've got Developer Options enabled here. We're going to scroll down and make sure that OEM unlocking is enabled. So if that's not enabled, we want to enable that option. So I'm going to allow OEM unlocking, and we want to allow USB debugging. So I'll select that option as well and click OK. Okay, the next thing we need to do is prepare the host computer. So we need to download USB drivers for Windows. In this example, once again, I'm using a Windows computer. So I'm going to download the Google USB driver. So on this page, I'm going to click download the Google USB driver zip file. You have to agree to the terms and conditions and then click download to download it. So what I'll do here is I'll create another folder. I've already done this previously, so I'll just call this CalyxOS 2 because I've already changed one phone to CalyxOS, but I'll install that driver there. And as you can see, once again, in the PDF, all those steps are shown. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is unzip the file, so extract all the files, and then I'm going to right-click on this Android WinUSB INF file and click install. We're told that it's an unknown publisher. I'm going to click open, and you can see the verified publisher is Microsoft Windows. File is installed. Now this didn't show in my recording because I previously installed it, but you'll get a prompt like this. Would you like to install this device driver from Google? So we're downloading this driver from the android.com website. So from Google. Google is the publisher, so you need to install the software and then click OK. So very basic installation. Okay, scrolling down, we need to download the device flasher. So download device flasher to the folder. Okay, so in my CalyxOS directory, I've got the device flasher. And what I'll do is open up a CMD prompt directly here. So if I type dir, you can see that the device flasher.exe file is in that directory. Now this will depend on your phone. In this example, I've got a Pixel 8 Pro. In the document, we were using a Pixel 6a. So the hash of the file is different because it's a different file. So on this phone, I'm going to use this command to check the hash. So copy that, paste that in here. You can see the hash starts with 111, ends in 70A3. That's the hash that they've given us. So you could check the entire hash to make sure that it matches. This is, once again, a unique digest of the device flasher. If it doesn't match, you may have a corrupt file or incorrect file. So if it's not the same file, re-download the file and make sure that it's the correct one for your phone. Next thing we need to do is download the CalyxOS operating system. So I'm going to click Save to save that. Now this is a 2 gig file, so it's going to take a while to download. So now's a good time to perhaps get a coffee while that downloads. Obviously depends on your internet speed. Now we're told this will only work for Pixel 8 Pro Husky. I've downloaded the file for my specific phone. The one that you download will be a different one. You need to make sure that it's the right software, otherwise it may brick your device. Now fortunately, when I was testing this, I actually used the wrong image with a phone and CalyxOS blocked me, so it didn't allow me to install the wrong image on the phone. But just be careful, when you're flashing a phone, you do run the risk of bricking it or killing your phone. So that's a risk that you need to take for yourself when flashing a device like this. Okay, we're told do not extract or rename the zip file, simply download as it is. And once downloaded, we can verify the image. Again, you want to make sure that everything matches correctly, that you've got the correct files. Okay, file is now downloaded. So if I open up my directory, we can see it there. What we're now told to do is check the hash of the file. So I'll copy this command, paste it in, and you can see that's the hash, starts with 627, ends in 687. And that's the hash that we want. So that looks good. Now, if you really want to make sure that the file is correct, you can download the signature file, but we're not going to worry about that here. Now we need to run the device flasher and flash the device. So you need to make sure that both the CalyxOS image and the device flasher are in the same directory. So if I clear my screen and type dir, flasher and file are in the same directory, so that's good. And now we can run the device flasher by double-clicking on device flasher to run it. Now, just before I do that, notice antivirus may flag this as infected because the program was written in the Go language. You can have a look at the FAQs if you want more information. We're also told that we may need to unlock the bootloader. Okay, so what we need to do is connect the computer to the phone. So I'll connect this via USB cable, Okay, so that's now connected. I now need to double click the device flasher, double click on that file. Now we're told that there's a problem with this file. Windows Defender has stopped it, but for this to work, you need to run this anyway. So you need to make a decision whether you want to run that file or not. I'm going to allow USB debugging. Okay, so there's various things that we told here, like connect to a Wi-Fi network and ensure that no SIM cards are installed. Enable developer options, we've done that. Enable USB debugging, we've done that. Enable OEM unlocking in the same developer menus option. So you could just make sure that that's done. So notice OEM unlocking is enabled. You can see USB debugging is enabled, and we've enabled developer options on the phone. So I'm going to press enter to continue. Now it tells us devices to be flashed is Husky in this case. So it's detected the right phone. Previously, when I connected the wrong phone and tried to do this, it told me that the phone wasn't found. So now I can press enter to continue. Now this process is going to take a while. Notice the phone is rebooted. You need to be patient now while it installs the software. It may take a while to go through all the steps, but we are told here, please use the volume and power keys on the device to unlock the bootloader. So we can see it says, do not unlock the bootloader. I'm going to use the volume buttons to unlock the bootloader and then the power button to select it. Okay, so that's been done now. And notice now it starts flashing. You just need to wait for it to happen. So there was quite a pause between me unlocking the bootloader to the software flashing the device. It's now doing various things. Notice the phone is turning on and off multiple times. You literally now just need to wait for quite a while it's flashing the phone, rebooting the phone, and so forth. So here's an example. You can see fast boot D. You can see that it's sending large files to the phone. Again, just wait for this process to complete. Okay, so now we're told, please use the volume and power keys on the device to lock the bootloader. So it was blank for a while, but now the following is displayed. So I'm going to lock the bootloader using the volume buttons and then power to select it. So bootloader is now locked. Okay, so the command prompt or terminal window on my Windows computer is now closed, and you can see that the phone is now booting. And there you go. It says, welcome to CalyxOS. Now, in the documentation on the website, it says you've now got the phone running, but in the PDF, we now show you the steps to get it set up. So a bunch of screenshots here that can help you get it set up. So first thing I'll do is say start, select where I am, which is the UK, click next. Now you'll need to enable Wi-Fi if you want to install apps in the upcoming steps. So in this document, we show you how to install various apps. So you'll need to connect to the Wi-Fi network for that to work. So what I'll do here is unplug the USB cable, and then I'll connect it to the Wi-Fi network. Okay, so I've connected to the Wi-Fi network. We're now told that a SIM card is missing. I'm okay with that, so I'm going to say next. Date and time is shown. I'm going to say next. We can restore apps if we want to. I'm not going to do that here, so I'm going to click skip. Now, you may want to enable location services. As an example, if you want to use the Maps app, you're going to need location services to see where you're at. So I'm going to say next. Specify a PIN. You could set up a fingerprint. I'm not going to do that. Now, this is what's interesting here. We are using MicroG, which is an open source replacement for Google services. So we get access to Google services without all the tracking. So we're going to allow that and say next. Now you can install additional apps here. I'm going to install all of them because I want the Aurora store as an example. So I want to install that. There's also other useful software here like the Calyx VPN. We have a Google Maps replacement. We can also get rid of EXIF data on our photos. We may also want to install the Tor browser. So I'm going to say install to install all of that software. This again is what's really nice about CalyxOS. It gives you a de-Googled phone, but with a whole bunch of applications ready to go out of the box. Very easy to get up and running with this. Now you can choose your theme. You might want to go for dark. I prefer that or light, but just to be consistent with the video, I'll select light. You can specify your preferred navigation method. I'll just go with the default and say next, and then say start. And there you go. I've now got CalyxOS installed with a bunch of applications. Okay, so if I scroll up, you can see various applications here, including the Aurora store, including the F-Droid store. So as an example, if I go to the Aurora store, I can choose various options. I can click next, choose various installations. I'm just going to go with a session installer, say next, go with the system default, say next. You could enable various app links. I'm not going to do that. Say next, and then say finish. So I literally just went with the defaults. And notice here, you could log in using a Google account or an anonymous account or a anonymous insecure account. So I'm going to choose anonymous because I want to log in and get access to Google Apps, but not using my Google ID. Now, you may have issues sometimes with doing this. You may have to try this multiple times, but I'll just show you one example. Let's say I want to install Instagram. I can do that, and notice the installation is happening here. And I can click install to install it. Notice the application is downloading. Okay, now I can press open, and there you go. I've got Instagram running on this CalyxOS phone. So again, if I scroll up, there's Instagram. You can use the Aurora store, or you can use F-Droid. This comes out of the box once again with CalyxOS, makes it very easy to install applications, especially if you're not used to a different operating system. So what I'll install here is Termux. So Termux terminal emulator, so I'll download that, press install. Termux is now installed, and I can press open to open it. I won't allow notifications, but notice there I've got Termux installed. uname-a shows us that we're running Linux. Now on the CalyxOS website, once again, in their documentation, they have a lot of really useful information. They talk about app stores such as F-Droid and Aurora. So if you need more information about what these stores actually are, then have a look on the CalyxOS documentation. They show you the applications that are included. So once again, you've got a VPN. You've also got the Tor browser. So that's built in straight away. So I can just start the Tor browser. They also have Signal. So private messaging available right away. Organic Maps allows us to use maps. So I'm going to allow it to find my location. You need to download the world map, and then you need to enable location settings, which I've done, and then I can specify my location. Okay, so app locations, I'm going to change use location, and then I can specify my location and it can find me. And I won't zoom in here, but notice you can see that I'm in the UK. What's also very nice is it has a built-in firewall, so you can decide what permissions you give an application. So for Instagram, as an example, we can decide, are we going to allow Instagram to have background network access, allow it to use Wi-Fi data, mobile data, allow it to use VPNs, etc. So you can simply turn off options here for various applications. So last app, let's look at scrambled EXIF data. Now, EXIF data allows people to find out where you are when you upload photos to various sites. A lot of social media sites will strip that information, but that doesn't mean that those sites don't have that information. So you could strip your EXIF data before you upload a photo to some photo sharing website. One more really nice feature is it has this work profile option. So the idea is that you can set up two versions of the phone if you like, or two phones, one for work, one for personal, or one for personal, one for another use. So notice here I have to go through the entire process once again and download the applications that I want to use. So in this example, I'll just skip the applications. So notice here, personal, I have Instagram, but on work, there's no Instagram. Very few applications are shown here. Again, personal, Instagram, work profile, no Instagram. So you can have two different profiles or two settings that are separated from one another. So applications in one profile don't get access to the other profile. As an example, if I take a photo in the work profile, so I'll just take a photo of that keyboard as an example. If I go to gallery, notice I can see those two photos. But if I go to my personal profile and go to gallery, notice no photos are found. So in the personal profile, no photos are found. In the work profile, my photos are found. So separation of the applications between two different profiles. Okay, I think that's enough. I've now shown you how to install CalyxOS on a Pixel phone. Process is very similar whether you're using a Pixel 6 as an example or 7 or 8. All the instructions are available on the CalyxOS website for specific phones. And once again, I have shared a PDF that shows you how to do this step by step if you want to use that. But what do you think? Do you use CalyxOS? Do you use graphene? What's your preferred de-Googled operating system, or are you just stuck on standard Android? I think it's really important to be aware of the tracking that's taking place these days. More and more companies are tracking more and more data. Microsoft recently just announced recall, which I think is a crazy idea, where they are taking screenshots of your computer every few seconds and then feeding that to an AI. I think this tracking, this monitoring of us needs to stop. You need to start taking back your privacy. Stop allowing companies tracking everything that you're doing. Please put in the comments below your thoughts about CalyxOS, Graphene, or perhaps other de-Googled operating systems. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and clicking on the bell to get notifications. I'm David Bombal, and I want to wish you all the very best.